Welcome back to YellowCard Vanguard. I'm your host, Toku, from It's Toku TV on Twitch. It has been a long while, and Clan Collection 5 and 6 have already been out for quite some time, but I figured this is going to be a mainstay of the channel, so I've taken some time out of my failing job search to give you, the viewers, what you want. My based, red-pilled, and Replica takes on the new cards and supports for Clan Collections 5 and 6. Once again, we need to preface the video as well as the rest of the series by letting you know that these lists are made at face value using my skills of card evaluation. They will need playtesting to fine-tune, but I hope they will serve as a good reference point for filthy net deckers to piggyback off of. Welcome back to Clan Collection Cores. It's idle time, baby! I've recently gotten super deep in my idol obsession once again. I'm a very big Miku fan as well, so Retrain was something I was very much looking forward to. With Prisms finally being out of the format with losing Rosa, Reet and Duos have some big shoes to fill. Let's take a look at the new cards. Our new Grade 3 lead singer in Duo Temptation Reet. Once per turn, you can bind your rearguard to draw 1, and at the end of the battle that it attacks, you can counterblast 1 and discard 1 and restand Reed, and it loses a drive. Then you can call up to 1 card from your bind zone with the same name as the card you discarded for cost. If your opponent is grade 3 or greater, you get a force marker and you put it onto your Vanguard circle. Honestly, without saying too much, we can already see it's a heavy downgrade from Vert when she was at full power. Not being able to get the +1 from binding to drop is a big thing, but regardless, a restanding force Vanguard that gains force markers is pretty good. With a chance of gaining multi-attacks as well, I think the weak part is not having innate bounds to open circles and forcing you to call over for max attacks and max value out of the force marker. The new grade 2 is Duo Mini Heart Urone. As a rearguard, when it attacks for the battle, it gains 3k for each card in your bind zone, and on either circle once per turn, if your Vanguard name is Duo, you can counterblast 1 to search your deck for the same named card as in your bind zone. An axe skill to Hard Tutor is pretty good to see, and alongside the upcoming grade 1, can help guarantee your ride into grade 3. Although minor, that 3k per bind being able to let Roan hit for 13k by herself is the biggest part I think here. I doubt we'll see the same values that we see in Steam Maidens, but being able to save your boost for the next attack is probably the best thing to see. Finally, the grade 1, Duo Pretty Horn Urao. When placed on Vanguard circle, bind up to 1 normal unit from your deck, and when placed on rear circle from specifically hand, choose up to 1 normal unit from drop zone and bottom deck it. If you return a card with the same name as a card in the bind zone, Soul Blast 1 and draw a card. As stated before, being able to ride from Ural into Roan guarantees your grade 3 ride, which is very good. Furthermore, being able to recycle normal units with the possibility to cycle herself on play for a draw is simple but effective. The weak point obviously not being able to cycle triggers back into the deck and only activating when calls from hand, so Superior Calls doesn't let it go off is still unfortunate. Still, it's a good way to set up your mid and late game. Let's see what I've thought up for the duo list. As you can see, I've decided against trying to mix Prism and Duo as it was once done in the past, and focusing more on the generic good stuff present in a Bermuda Triangle and streamlining the duo cards. We went with Ange as a side grade 3 because going first, I wanted something that put out a lot of pressure and helps with force scaling, and Reet going first does not do that. I don't even consider Ange a break, since if we're on Reet, we can always just call her and bind her for a cycle. There's no big final turn combo that this deck looks to do, rather it just uses its advantage engines and multi-attack to out-tempo and outscale the opponent. Something as simple as a small rearguard poke, then a large rearguard attack on the force marker, and a restanding Vanguard with a superior call onto the force markers. Let's break down the list. In our grade 3 lineup, 3 copies of our new boss unit Reet, and 4 copies of Ange as our ideal first ride. As stated before, Ange being able to use our first counterblast to effectively +5 and allow us to aggress our opponent can help leverage us into a situation once we're able to ride Reet. Reet is also not a great first ride, to be completely honest with you. She doesn't plus as hard as Vert used to, and with Bermuda's draw engine, I imagine finding a Reet for turn 4 won't be too hard. We also run 3 copies of Prism Duo Nectaria. Nectaria effectively acts as our 5th to 7th copy of Ural to let us tutor, bind, but also act as a very strong attacker in the later stages of the game. If we didn't get the Ural ride, but have a Nectaria, we can still ride into Roan, hopefully, and get whatever grade 3 Vanguard we needed for our next turn. In our grade 2 lineup, we are running 4 copies of the said Roan, but most importantly for the fact that her name fits the condition for her effect. Another familiar face here in Lieselot, getting us that free early board advantage early as turn 1, but a new face in Passive. Passive has good synergy with both Ange and Right. Ange can bounce a Passive that you've attacked with to call a new one from deck and still threaten the restand and the on hit. But Passive's on-hit also counts as fuel towards matching names for Raid's discard cost if we've bound a Passive too. In our grade 1 lineup, we are running a full playset of Ural. To repeat, it's our grade 1 ride, letting us choose a target to search with Roan on our grade 2 ride. The second effect, letting us cycle her out and refill our deck, helps us keep the grind up. We run 3 copies of Sedna as a contingency plan of getting our grade 3 into our hand. Finally, a 2 pair of Lusalos and Spiana. With the deck where our grade 2 as well as our grade 3 requires a counterblast each, having a good method of countercharge is very desired. I wish I could find more slots for more Lusalos, since because the Reet doesn't +2 hand like Vert would, being able to call strong interceptors from the bind zone would be a good band. As for our trigger lineup, very uninspiring, but it's the 8 crit 4 draw 4 Hildian lineup here. Not much else to say, Spiana being able to recycle Hildian being the cute thing that this deck can do. As for other options we can run Vert and Clear as a Prism sub-engine, Vert also being able to help set up the bind zone as a first grade 3 ride and do something similar to Ange with the board bounce isn't awful, but losing Rosa in our side of the format does hurt a lot. I like the idea of having 4 Clear in rotation so that Reet can keep calling them out for another draw. Something like Clear, bind, Clear to draw, then we have another Clear in bind for next turn. Oh, what's this? A premium alert? It looks like Bermuda Premium Collection Stride Heltrauda, allowing us to go back into our grade 3, plays very well with whatever grade 3 boss unit we want to, including Reet, especially with the fact that Heltrauda lets us bounce our entire board back, which means that extending with Reet doesn't force us to call over and lets us go for a 3-2-1 drive check, a triple Vanguard attack while getting force marker acceleration. It's a good generic stride with good synergies and helps band-aid a lot of what Reet's weaknesses are. In conclusion, Reet, as much as I love you, you're not fair. Unfortunately, the 2 support cards were very much for the duo playstyle and not as generic as hoped so to be able to be splashed into other decks. I think the best way to play Bermuda Triangle is somewhere in between Ange and Highlander to abuse Kutire as much as possible. That is until she got banned. In any case, that's it from me for this episode of Clan Collection Course. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this and leave a comment down below because every little bit helps. This has been Toku from YellowCard Vanguard. Toku out.